Lovely. So welcome to those of you who have joined us today. My name is Michaela. I'm one of the co-founding directors, the managing director of Flourish Together. I'm also the manager of one of our sister projects called Pop-Up Spa and Retreat. And we are coming to talk to you today about some new opportunities that are coming up. I'll explain a little bit more about shortly. But before we get into the elements of these programs, which are all part of this career pathways in holistic health, community health and beauty, we wanted to just inspire people. We've got so many people across the Flourish network leading social ventures, purpose-led ventures and other wellbeing businesses, that we wanted to kind of share a little bit about what some of the people in our network have been doing first, and then we will tell you a bit more about what's coming up. So if I may, I will ask Karen to come and introduce herself. Everybody's just, everyday people who have been involved in all kinds of weird and wonderful lives as we do, just sharing a bit about their background and what's kind of led them into developing something related to health and wellbeing. So Karen, do you want to share what you've been up to first, if you want to come off mute and tell us more?
Yeah, hi. Sorry, I thought I was off mute then. So my name's Karen and I live in Warrington. With my family, my children, my husband, my dog. And I began after college, I went to art college and began as a graphic designer and did that for a few years. Then decided it was really interesting, but decided I needed to earn more money. So I went in, at sort of about 22 years old, went into sales and marketing. And I stuck with that for a long time. I really quite enjoyed that. They sort of involved with communicating with the public and different trade organisations. So I worked in the construction industry there for a while, and I eventually at the age of 30 took a yoga class. So that's like 22 years ago now, and that was my first ever yoga class and I absolutely loved it. And I stuck with it. And so 18 years on from then, decided to retrain as a yoga teacher. So this is where Michaela's asked me to come along to talk about this sort of pathway. I retrained at 48 and decided to teach children's yoga, mainly because it's a lot more fun. And I could do that also during the daytime and took it into schools, wanted to take it into schools and run breakfast clubs, school clubs, that type of thing. So I did the training course, and the same year I set up my business, Yoga Budz, which probably about to run, but there you go. And started contacting head teachers, mail shotting schools and different nurseries as well, to see if they were interested. And sort of work started to trickle in from different schools around the area, until eventually I got some regular morning slots and sort of afternoon slots with a couple of primary schools. So it's mainly aimed at children. My teaching training was up to age 11. And it's been great fun, actually. Can you imagine, the thought of going into school? Well, not everybody would like that, would they? But the thought of going into school, leaping around and acting out stories in yoga positions with a bunch of kids that tend to usually love it. It's great fun, so it was something I really enjoyed. And also I strongly believe that children, should have access to that as well. It always seems to be adults that take yoga classes and adults that need to de-stress and learn how to, reduce the stress levels and anxiety. But of course, kids have got a lot of pressure going on in school in their lives. So I did feel it was something children needed to have access to, as do a lot of other people. There were loads on the training course. How many went to tell them to set up businesses? I have no idea, but I felt it was worthwhile venture for the kids to, to learn different coping mechanisms, really.
And I know we've talked about your plans and how you go in and some of the really creative ways that you've kind of adapted yoga and how to get this with young people, because you're a mum yourself, all the latest, trends. You've been doing all sorts of, I don't know, Minecraft sessions or turning it into, whatever the latest.
That's right. It's true that. So obviously to catch kids' attention and get them interested, you have to theme it, don't you, to see whatever's currently on trend, or films, music. Like you say, silly little things, fidget spinners, anything that comes along that will grab their attention and just engage them for long enough to sort of pick up a few techniques. They don't realise in most cases they are picking up little techniques that will assist them, in calming down and just learning to control emotions and self-awareness, that type of thing. But yeah, that's quite true.
Well, I know that we've got a handful of people who are going to say a little bit, so I might just leave it there, Kaz, and ask Jackie to come on. But I mean, really, Karen coming saying a little bit about what she's been involved in, what she's doing, had all sorts of jobs in the past, really followed a passion around yoga, retrained and upskilled, sort of, 30s and 40s, really, didn't you? And then looked at setting up a new career that worked alongside your family. So
well, it worked with the family, and of course with the pandemic, going into schools completely stopped, so there has been a sort of period where I've not been able to go in and teach, so quite a while.
But you've got your t-shirt there and it looks like you're all geared up, so fantastic. And I know in the meantime, we've Karen came on one of our Time to Grow programs, and I've now kind of hoodwinked her into working for us as an admin and operations assistant part-time, and we'll be, alongside working within Flourish, and the kinds of opportunities that we can create, getting different kinds of experience in social enterprise development will be helpful for getting Yoga Budz back moving.
Yeah, that's right. It will be.
Lovely. Well, thanks for that, Karen. I'm going to move on to Jackie, if I may, and welcome to anybody who came a little bit later. We're just hearing from a handful of women. There's Karen, there's Jackie, and there's Aimee, who are going to say a little bit, and then we're going to get into what these opportunities are, and then come and hear from you as well. So, Jackie, perhaps I'll come to you next, if I may.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Jackie Bailey. I'm a transformation empowerment coach with my company, BU Personal Development Limited. And BU stands for Brilliant, Excellent, Exceptional You, because the premise is, and I believe, that all of us are those things in our own individual ways. BU does holistic coaching, so it's about kind of the entirety of our being, and the coaching is based in living a life that is based on and aligned with our personal values. So, living a purposeful life that's values based. I set up BU in 2017. Prior to BU, I was working more corporately in the public sector, more recently in the NHS. As I said, I was with the public sector before I decided to go into being a coach. I've already given information about what kind of coaching I do, so I won't give that again. So prior to being a coach, when I left the public sector, I was in the NHS as an equality and diversity manager and for a mental health trust. And I left the organisation and I took a break, actually. I took a 6-month break just before I was 14, did a lot of pausing and reflecting and just thinking about, really, what do I want to do? What will make me feel fulfilled and what's my purpose? And at that point, I was so used to kind of where I was and working in that sector that I decided to take the step and become a management consultant. So as a management consultant, I went into the area of work that I was familiar with. So I carried on doing consultancy around stakeholder engagement, access to services, looking at experiences and outcomes, working with different organisations, third sector, public sector and private sector. And then I was also, alongside that, I'd always had a huge passion for reading and encouraging other people to read and engage with creative arts and literature. So in 2007, so this was while I was still working in the public sector, I'd set up a women's reading group for Black women of the African diaspora called Sisters Get Active with Literature, Sisters Gal. And gal is a play on words. It's, a word that is used for girl in a lot of different Caribbean islands. And it's like taking on that word in a positive way. So Sisters Get Active with Literature, we would meet monthly, we'd discuss literature, We then became into more than a literature group. We'd go out, we'd go to the theatre, we'd go out for meals and so on. And from that, we ended up having lots of discussions about our personal lives, our work experiences, career development, and so on. And from that, I thought there's a space here really that would be really helpful if we could go away and just have some time for ourselves. And out of that came the first retreat that I organised, which took place in Lincolnshire. Now, that was many years after we had started. And so we had that retreat, I think that was in 2016. And out of that came what is now the course, Take Action to Manifest Your Vision, which really looks at what is my purpose, what is my vision, you know, where do I want to be in life, how do I want to live my life. And so we went on and we had a second retreat, and that was in 2017. And by this point, BU had started, and it was mainly focusing on retreats at that point. I then decided to go on and do, because I've been doing a lot of mentoring and I've been doing some coaching in my work, and I went on to do to take a formal coaching course. So I did a certificate and diploma, and decided to start doing one-to-one coaching and also group coaching. So now BU does coaching, edupowerment, which is education and empowerment rolled into one, and retreats. The coaching that I do is one-to-one coaching, team coaching, and group coaching. I do coaching within the corporate sector. So I've recently done coaching for different equality staff networks in terms of vision building and purpose, action planning, and building their strategy for maintaining their groups. I've done that with a range of 5 staff networks recently in different local authorities. I do one-to-one coaching with individuals. And as I mentioned before, that's around really thinking about your purpose, what's your vision for your life, and looking at a values-based life and feeling fulfilled and living your purpose and aligning your life with that. The Edupowerment takes a range, there's a range of opportunities available. I'm a very big advocate of journaling. It has really helped me personally. It's helped me through grieving and healing processes. So BU has, during the pandemic, went online. So there's a Facebook group, which is free to access, which is Journal to Being Your Best You, which is on Facebook.
And that's how we came across each other, wasn't it? Because we've had Jackie come in and get involved in a couple of our Time to Grow programs and other things. And Jackie's going to be being part of the careers into holistic health days that we'll talk about in a moment there.
Yeah. So there's the Facebook group. I also have an Instagram page where on that I conduct interviews with conversations with a range of different people in holistic health and well-being. So, you know, I will speak to other coaches. I've had people come along and talk about healing. I've had other people come along and talk about things like how they're living their purpose, how they put their well-being first, how they're moving forward with their vision. The BU retreats and have now extended into working with young people. So I was really interested in what Karen was saying. So I do retreats as part of a partnership with another organisation, which currently have been online for young people looking at their holistic well-being. So I coordinate the retreats, and they included in the retreats are yoga, emotional freedom, technique, art for well-being, sound baths, and so on. I've conducted a few retreats online during the pandemic for women as well. So that's BU in a nutshell, really. It's about us. Sorry?
We might come back and ask for some sort of top tips from each of you before we sort of wrap up shortly, but conscious we've got a couple more people to hear from, and we've got to talk about the course. I think it's fantastic again to hear another woman who's been, you know, through a kind of life journey, through a career journey, and just kind of combining those passions to create really strong, holistic health and wellbeing services cutting across different sectors. And, you know, people don't realize these things exist or how to get into these things even, or, you know, both the ladies that we've had here have talked about sort of retraining and getting different skills and, you know, through the programme, we'll be able to signpost and support people through some of this stuff, and we'll get onto that shortly. Before I keep dangling that carrot of what's this course all about, I'll just come to Aimee, if I may. So Aimee works for our sort of partner organisation, Beauty in the Community, based at MEBA, and I just thought it'd be fantastic to hear from Aimee's own journey into, you know, holistic health and wellbeing and beauty, which the different aspects of what we're going to do kind of covers. So Aimee, do you want to say a bit about your own journey before we both have a look at what's happening with the course?
Yeah, it's interesting actually listening to both Jackie and Karen, because you both said things that were sort of related to me. So I was actually doing graphics as well, same as Karen, before I got into any sort of beauty related stuff. My journey started quite young. I found out I was going to become a mum when I was 17, to not one but two babies. I've got twin girls. So I knew that I was doing social media and graphics. I knew that was something that I'd really have to invest a lot of time in, and I didn't have that time with becoming a mum, and beauty was always a hobby. So once I had my daughters, and I was a single mum for a while as well, when I had my daughters, I thought, right, I need something that I can do which will work around being a mum, you know. So I decided to train in beauty, because it's always been a hobby, but I'd never trained in it before. So I came to MEBA. That was like 2016, and I trained here. I did my level 3 beauty, which was great. It was over a course of 6 months, so it was great. It meant it could fit around, you know, being a mom, and I could, you know, have my time as well to sort of change, you know, the career in sort of the path going to the career that I wanted. So I got qualified, and I decided to go self-employed again, because it was great to fit around the kids being little. I had a little room set up at home, and it was difficult to start with, because I thought, right, I'm qualified, but you know, they don't just give you your clients. So using my social media knowledge, I built my own little business from home, which was great, and I had a lovely year doing that. I met some amazing clients, and you know, gained a lot of self-confidence, you know, like, right, I can actually, you know, sort of do this if I can build something from scratch. And shortly after that, I met my partner. So I decided that I wanted more experience sort of in a salon, and the kids were in they'd started school. So I went, and it's funny, Jackie, you were saying about your business being called BU. The salon I went to is actually called BU, Beauty Rooms. So when he said that, I was like, that's strange. I think it stands for Be Unique. So I went there for a couple of years, because working from home was great, but I just wanted, you know, to have the opportunity to work with a team. So I did that, and that was for just under 2 years through the whole pandemic, which was it was a struggle, of course, because we weren't allowed in the salons. But when they reopened, you know, we all supported each other, and you know, it was great talking to the clients. It was almost like a therapy session, speaking to your clients, and they said the same, you know, because we're all going through the same things, you know, trying to get on with life during the pandemic and stuff. And again, I loved working there, and I learned stuff from the girls who were more experienced than me, that, you know, I wouldn't have learned off anybody if they didn't have the experience. And it was great to work with people who've been in the beauty community for, you know, a lot longer than me. And so I'd always followed MEBA, because this is where I trained, and I saw the job post come up for a beauty tutor, which is what I am now. And I never really thought about it until then, because it wasn't just an ordinary tutor. It was focusing on helping people who've been in like similar positions to me, you know, maybe a little bit anxious, you know, not sure what career path they wanted to take, but knew they had an interest in beauty. So I knew that it was sort of, for me, the job. I thought, I've seen that for a reason, you know, so I went for it. I was delighted when I got it. So I already knew MEBA well, and the girls here from training, so that made me feel a little bit more comfortable. And the values we have at MEBA are to motivate, inspire, believe, and achieve. So I've really taken to those, because that's what I did as I was young. You know, I had to motivate myself, inspire, you know, sort of inspire myself and believe in myself, and then I achieved, you know, what more than I, you know, thought that I could. So I've started doing something called Beauty in the Community through MEBA, which is, you know, it's working with groups of girls who have interest in beauty or, you know, well-being and stuff like that, and sort of just listen to what they want to learn. And I'd tell them my story, because it was such a struggle. I mean, I explained my story in a nutshell. But becoming a mum so young, it was difficult, but I knew that I wasn't just going to give up and think, right, that's all I am now. I wanted to be, you know, like a boss mum, like a super mum. I wanted to be a mum, but I wanted to have a really good career, you know, so I could show, because I've got 2 girls, I wanted to show them that you can do anything, you know, that you set your mind to. So teaching these young girls the beauty in the community is great, because a lot of them have the interest in beauty, whether they go into college to study it or they want to, you know, come and do a course at Aimee or whatever. It's great, and it just feels like all the hard work that I put myself through is paying off by passing it on to these girls, and that's why you know, I'm really enjoying the beauty in the community. And as well as beauty in the community, I will be going on to doing teaching courses at Aimee as well, which is just like beyond like what I ever thought I could achieve. So I just thought I was really excited when you asked me to come and do the talk, because I just thought if I can inspire just one person, you know, to keep pushing themselves, because I could have easily just given up and been like, all right, you know, I'm just gonna sit at home and be a mum for the rest of my life. I knew that I wanted to show my girls and show anybody else who needed that little push, that if you put your mind to it, you know, you can get into doing what you know you want to do. And I've had really good feedback from the girls at Beauty in the Community, and like I said, they're interested in beauty, but they were all more kind of shocked, you know, that they said, oh, you did all that when you were 17, 18. I said, I did. I said, it doesn't matter whether you're 18, whether you're 30, whether you're 40, you know, as long as you have the right stuff around you and the right resources and stuff like that, like groups like this, who can give you that little bit of a push and support. Yeah.
Together. Well, if I can sort of hold that thought there, we are going to both sort of say a little bit more about what's coming up in these courses, but hopefully having, you know, 3 quite different women with quite different journeys, although there's these kind of threads of commonality, which, you know, isn't unusual across, you know, Flourish events and the Flourish network. I think it'd be great to just tell a little bit more about what's coming up and how they can find out a little bit more about it, just so that people who are listening now and listening again have got a chance to digest all of this stuff. So hopefully people can see that. I've just put a little bit of information together here because it's, you know, a little bit easy to see on screen sometimes. I know this is a busy slide, forgive me, but it's more as a prompt for me than anything else. So basically, Flourish Together, Beauty in the Community, and as I say, our sister kind of organisation that I oversee, Pop-Up Spa and Retreat, have co-designed this course, and we're successful in getting some European money through the WEA to put this together. At Flourish, we've supported over 1,000 women to lead the change they see needed in communities. We work with all sorts of other people, and obviously guys and different kinds of organisations across housing or health or councils or different universities. There's different people we work with, but we like to reinvest our profits or reinvest our surplus time and other resources into supporting women to lead the change they see needed and build their economic independence, whatever that means for them. And so in teaming up with Beauty in the Community, we wanted to put something together that both met some of the goals of what the Flourish Network might want to get involved with, as well as what Beauty in the Community up to. And it's a bit of a catch-all, if I'm honest with you. You know, people can train in sort of holistic therapies, beauty therapies. There's inspiration from people like Jackie and Karen and others who've been leading their own sort of complementary health sort of and wellbeing related businesses. And we've put together this sort of pick and mix menu of different options that I'm just going to explain, this timeline of activities, so that people can get a feel for what they might want to dip in and out of. What I was going to say, we're doing this virtual event, but we've got some physical events that we're planning as well, out and about. So we're hoping to have, we've definitely got a physical event in Wigan on the 22nd of September that we're having at the Merrick Street Centre. I'll be emailing people who booked on about that, and there's things all about it on Twitter at Flourish CIC and through our Flourish Eventbrite page, Flourish Together Manchester, and you'll find all our Eventbrite stuff. But Wigan, Salford, and then back at Aimee in December in Manchester, we'll have some physical events where there'll be kind of community wellbeing activities. We'll be showcasing different kinds of women-led ventures, and there'll be inspirational talks, tasters, even complementary therapy treatments that people can have, because women, you know, we're all so busy, whatever we're doing, don't make enough time for ourselves. So we try and cram in a way of getting treatments and be those mini manicures or mini back, neck and shoulder massage or whatever at the same time. So it's a win-win. So we'd really welcome people to come along to those. And I can explain those first, because These are part of our kind of, I guess, outreach events and taster sessions that are happening. They've been happening. We started them in July. We had one at Aimee in the summer, and then we've got more, as I say, coming over between now and the end of the year. They're a really good way to connect into what we're doing and to find out more about what's coming up, and whether you're eligible for this course or you've got time to get involved in some of the things that are coming up. The events that we've designed mean that we can be accessible and open to anybody, and everybody's got a benefit from either promoting themselves, finding out more, being inspired, or getting a bit of training and development. So getting into the nuts and bolts of what's on offer and what's available, for people who want to express their interest, and I will be showing an expression of interest, and we'll be on our website, the Flourish Together website, for ease of people accessing that. In North Manchester and in Stockport in November, we're running this Career Pathways in Holistic Health course. It's a one-day course. You could come on to both because they will be slightly different, but the plan is to have a one-day course, and there'll be inspiration, as I say, from various women developing different things, and from yourselves, because everybody that comes on the course has got this real way of learning from one another. We'll be helping you reflect on mapping your journey and goals for the future, using this amazing journaling sort of practice that Jackie talks about, because it's a really good technique, and it'll be a really fun and informal way to not overwhelm yourself as well. It's busy and there's a lot to do, and it takes time to think this stuff through, and actually Jackie's approach and those tools that she's got will be really helpful to start people thinking about that. We'll be talking about different ways, both myself and Aimee potentially, and other people, about finding the right opportunities for you. So there'll be some people who might want to develop their own thing or become self-employed, or know that they've got an idea they're already developing and they need some help with kind of making that viable and sustainable. And there'll be other people who they might want to get into work, or they might want to look at options. So both whether you're on an enterprise sort of journey, or back into work, or looking for new work opportunities, there's no right or wrong way to approach some of this stuff. And then we'll also, within the time frame of the day, I think we're running them from about 10 till 4 these days, we will be helping people look at enterprise, or finding the right routes for them as well. So that's one aspect of the course, and we'll happily share more information for people who want to get more involved in some of that. We then got, and this is where Aimee will help me fill in the gaps here, but in partnering with Beauty in the Community, Amoeba, a key part of this was to offer some accredited beauty and massage courses at Flourish, and with a pop-up spa and retreat. We've supported numerous people into flexible and alternative career pathways in holistic health, getting trained up and offering them, introductory courses, short courses, getting accredited to the point where you can actually get a job and get into work this way. So we thought it's a great way that for those people who want that and want to find out more, or even for people who've been running something or might have tinkered with therapies before and they want to add more strings to their bow, there'll be some great options there. I don't know if you want to say a little bit more, just from your point of view, Aimee, on sort of, obviously it's going to be a 12-week accredited course. How people, how you might whet their appetite, I suppose, to get interested.
Yeah, I mean, well, like I said when I was talking before, it's with it being a 12-week course, and then obviously the day courses, it's great to fit around sort of everyday life, because it'll be like 1-2 days a week, and you can just come into the city centre and train here with, the professionals that have got the experience, and can give you that push, to get your certification, and then obviously you can take that anywhere then. And if I found if you do one course and you get one course under your belt, you want to do another, and you want to do another, and because we have so many options here and so many courses going on, it's great for anybody who is a beginner in anything to do with beauty, or if they want to take, they've already started but they don't know where to go next and they want to get another level, and and stuff with like the aromatherapy and the Indian head massage and the beauty treatments, like I say, you can take it anywhere. You can go self-employed, you can go into a salon, or you can eventually do what I'm doing, where it's teaching. There's so many options from just doing these courses. They don't take a lot of time, and that we're here to support the girls and people that want to do the courses and where they want to go. And because we've got a good team of people, of a lot of sort of information, it's good to sort of kickstart your sort of journey into the beauty and wellness sort of sector, I think is, you know, it's the best place to start.
A growth area, believe it or not, at the moment, isn't it? And I know we've all been cooped up through the pandemic, and you know, salons have shut, and there's potentially a bit of a risk there. There's almost like a backlog of people who've been wanting to get into this industry that haven't been able to. This is a great,
don't know how.
This is a great opportunity, you know, for free courses to help you get into that, or for people who've been kind of stalling and kind of, you know, have these skills and are, you know, haven't been fully employed and are wanting to push their way through. The way we've designed this on purpose is to kind of be a catch-all, so that if people are new, they can plug into the accredited 12-week course. If they've upskilled in some of the basics and they've got their anatomy and physiology, for example, the one-day courses will work. As I say, the majority of people that are coming on these courses would have to prove that they're technically currently unemployed, living in Greater Manchester, and so on. However, because we've got sort of wider events going on, there's inspiration events and you know, bits of wriggle room that we try and create so that we never have to say no to people, or we can signpost them onto other things. Even if you're not technically eligible for this free program, there might be other subsidised or you know, affordable courses over at MEBA as well. So we're hoping
we'll work out a payment, you know, we can work out payment plans. People who might not be able to pay, you know, in a lump sum, you know, if they are working, you know, and there's payment plans, so it means that we don't turn anybody away.
So we've got options, and we're looking for around sort of we've got capacity for around 15 or so on that particular program, and we're imagining we'll find another sort of 10 to 15 people potentially across the kind of cocktail of other things, and people will just fill in a simple expression of interest. They'll tell us kind of who they are, what they're interested in, which of these courses we've got on offer they're most interested in, and then we'll have a follow-up call. It might be me, it might be my colleague Shelley, who's on the call here, Karen, who was there earlier, or Aimee directly, and we'll just work through people's needs. So just finally, the last two bits of these courses, because of the pandemic and because the world's changed, and because actually the beauty industry is going wild online with, I don't know, beauty tutorials and whatever else, or wellbeing yoga stuff, or like Jackie's been doing through her Facebook groups and other things, it's really important to try and upskill people and get them confident in certain things. We're not then saying we're going to turn you into a YouTuber by any means. Most of us would balk at the thought of that. But what we've tried to do is think about what can we bolt into this program that's really going to help women as a force for social change, women who might want to do additional branding and marketing. And like Jackie said, she's got Instagram, she's got Facebook, you know, the kind of elements that you have to have as part of your business. You kind of pick the ones that are either right for you or right for your audience, and you run with it. And so we're doing a brilliant podcasting training day with Vic Turnbull, who we use, that does all the Flourish podcasts that we have on Audio Boom. We've got marketing branding using Canva and considering self-branding with Vicky at Belton Wigan. These are all women who we've invested in previously to set up and get started through Flourish. You know, that's what we do, is find this talent. We've got video content planning, design and editing, and we're probably going to do that with a lady called Natasha Bourgeois and her other half at Union Street Media Arts, all being well. Claire Worthington's going to run a WordPress so that people understand they want to put their own simple websites together. They've not got to pay through the nose for that. Likewise, we've got people who are going to do Yellow Jigsaw. We'll have come in and do social media and media and PR on the more sort of journalistic side. So, you know, you should be able to leave this course and, you know, take over the world, we hope, or at least, you know, with the right tool bag to take forward your ideas in your own way. And, you know, whether that's going into work or setting up your own thing, you've got options then to take things forward. And last but not least, I was just going to say, you'll see at the bottom there, we've got this kind of enterprise and self-employment courses, depending on where people want to do that across the spectrum of what we've been doing. Come March, April next year, between Flourish and Beauty in the Community, we will be helping people understand the routes to enterprise, social enterprise and self-employment, kind of the differences, and, you know, that there's no one size fits all way to have to kind of get into this stuff to, you know, earn a living, make a difference, and, you know, feel fulfilled at work, because we, you know, spend a lot of time working. We want to enjoy it, and we want to show you how to go about that. So that's what we've got coming up. Our final slide here, I'll come to people shortly about comments and so on, but I thought I will just wrap up our videoed and recorded element there, so that people listening again know what's going on in the programme, the the kinds of pathways that different people can take. So there's no reason why you can't take these sorts of things seriously and have a go yourself. And they can email us at info@flourishtogether.org.uk to express their interest. I was just going to come back for sort of final thoughts for Jackie and Aimee before I stop recording. Jackie, any sort of final tips from yourself that, you know, people are thinking of sort of taking the leap here, you know, things to bear in mind, or that if you want to come off mute and, you know, it's like Jerry Springer's final thought, we'll have Jackie and Aimee's final thoughts.
Final thoughts. It's really about, for me, thinking about what your passion is, what you really enjoy doing, what makes your heart sing. And when I shared my experience, I said, you know, that first of all, I just carried on doing what I'd been doing because that's what I was used to. But when I really thought about, actually, what's my purpose? What do I love doing? I love working with other people about their vision, their purpose, you know, what they enjoy, what makes them live a life that feels fulfilled, working with them on values. And so it's not, for me, it's around not being afraid to do what you enjoy and do it in your way. Do it in the way that you're being yourself, that's unique, that's different, that brings something different, that allows you to serve others and contribute and add value in a way that makes you and others feel fulfilled. Because oftentimes I know as women, we can think, oh, well, there's already people out there doing massage, or there's already people out there doing this kind of therapy or that kind of coaching. The difference that you bring is you and yourself, and no one else is doing it in the way that you do. You know, we have loads of different clothes shops, we have loads of different supermarkets. You know, we don't just have one and see it in that way. You will be bringing a difference that's unique. So I'd say in closing, don't be afraid to be yourself and be innovative and be creative and bring that to what you do.
Yeah, good bit of wisdom there, Jackie. Thank you. Finally, Aimee, any final thoughts from yourself on, you know, people who might,
you know, I mean, yeah, just similar to what Jackie said, you know, you've got to find what you enjoy. It's very easy to just stay in a job that you're comfortable with or that you're used to, but finding what you enjoy is, and, you know, expressing who you are as a person. You've got to enjoy, you know, your work. You know, there's nothing worse than getting up every day and thinking, oh, you know, like I get up now every day and I'm like, oh, what's today going to bring? You know, like it's something that you actually enjoy. And I mean, I wish I had help with a program like this, because I sort of had to try and figure it out on my own, and it took longer. It took a few years, you know, for me to sort of get where I am now. So with this program, I think it's great for people who've been in a similar position as myself and any of the other ladies that I spoke today who want a career change or want to dive into something, you know, that there's a help there to sort of get them going. We train them, we give them the help, we give them the advice, and then they can go off there and then, like Jackie was saying, be themselves. And every single different person is unique, you know, so just because you're doing the same therapy to somewhere else doesn't mean that you're the same person as them. You know, people don't just go to the salon or wherever you're working, you know, for the treatments, to go for the people that are there as well, you know what I mean? And it's a great program, so I'm really looking forward to helping people through where I didn't have any assistance, you know, and helping them find what it is that they enjoy.
Fantastic. Well, on that thought, we will leave it there and leave people to be able to get in touch with us, like I say, through our info@flourishtogether.org.uk, or come to some of our physical events, looking up Flourish Together, Eventbrite Manchester, and there's a list of what our physical events are that are on at the moment. We really look forward to seeing what's possible, and we're taking our time to kind of find people between now and the end of the year through some of these things that we've got going on, with a view to then pushing in on some of the more sort of intensive courses, January to March, April-ish there. So can't wait to hear who we find out about, and do get in touch if you want to hear more about it. I shall leave it there.